Good morning, everyone. Myself P. Prashanti, Assistant Professor, EI Department. Here I am to teach you the subject Process Dynamics and Control, which is in third year, first semester. So, the main objective of this subject, what is how to control the process parameter in industries. In daily life, we are going to see the different parameters, how they are controlling in the industries. So what techniques we are going to use there to control the such parameters, and what are the different optimum settings we are going to use in that, and what are the how to get the different control actions, and what are the different control methods, and how to change those optimum settings. If you want to change from one value to the other value, what are the optimum settings we have to use, and how to use that control valves, and how to use that actuator parts, whatever it is, whatever the devices we are going to use in the industries, how they are operate, and how we are going to modify or design that entire we are going to learn in this subject. That is the main objective of this subject, that is we are going to learn this. So by learning this subject, you are going to get the knowledge on the different types of control valves are used in the different industries. What are the different types of control valves are there? What are the actuators are there? And in that particular processes or industries, how you are going to control either open loop systems or closed loop systems, which type of control system we are going to use in that one, that we are going to learn in this subject, and what are the different types of control actions and controllers used in the process industries, that you are getting the knowledge about those topics, and how you are going to tune the optimum values for that particular control actions, and how we are going to place and working of our final control elements, and different types of multivariable control systems and single variable control systems, how we are going to operate those one. So those are all are we are going to learn in this subject. So after completion of this subject, you are going to get the same knowledge about these topics. So, as per JNTU curriculum, you have five chapters, right? So, first chapter entirely deals with the introduction to the process control or process dynamics. Nothing but introduction means you have, that is how many types of control systems are there. Like in daily life, we are seeing some systems which are operated in manual way, which are operated in automatic way. How we are going to control? What is mean by automatic? What is mean by manual? That is open loop systems, closed loop system. What are the different variables you have? That entire view you are going to learn in the first chapter, that named as a process dynamics. So after learning the different parameters, how we are going to operate or how we are going to use those parameters to convert it into the actions, that you are going to learn in the control actions or controllers. So control actions, those are again divided into so many types like proportional controller, integral controller, derivative controller, or controllers. You have different types used upon the medium, which is pneumatic controllers, hydraulic controller, or electronic controller. What are the devices used in that particular designing of that controller? Based on those are divided into different types. That total comes under the second chapter, which is control actions and controllers. So we learned by first two chapters, you are going to learn the different actions and different types of controllers and parameters. But for which values we are getting the optimum values, that is optimum outputs, by using tuning process we are going to get. What is mean by tuning, and how we are going to give that parameter values, and what are the different formulae, and what are the different types of waveforms we are going to get, what are the different analysis have to be done for the particular waveforms, that we are going to learn in the tuning process, that is related to entire third chapter. After tuning, how they are affecting in the process, how that is affecting in the process, by we are going to learn in the fourth chapter, that is final control elements. In order to affect the process, in between the controllers, in between the in between the process, there should be a element to affect the process, that is called as a final control element. And finally, basically you are going to see in daily life that is only at a time single variable controls. Single variable like fan, which is used to control the speed of the fan. So speed as well as temperature in a room, a small bit. So but in order to control more than one variable at a time, so what are the different systems we have to control the more than one variable, and what are the types, and how we are going to control different parameters at a time, that we are going to learn in the fifth chapter, that is multivariable control system. So this is a unit 1 I already told, which is unit 1 we have just basics about the process control instrumentation or process dynamics, which we are going to learn about the different parameters, different different parameters, different variables, and what are the different types of systems we have, that we are going to learn in the unit 1, that is chapter 1, which is a process dynamics and control. So here, these are the main topics we are going to learn in this first chapter, which is unit 1, which is related to the unit 1. First one is a process variables. So what are the different variables we are going to use, or we are going to measure, or we are going to monitor in a process industries? Those are the process variables. And what are the load variables we have? And what are the different systems we are going to use depending upon the medium or depending upon the parameter, like flow process, temperature process, or pressure process, like this. These are the dynamics of a process system. Dynamics of a process, which are the pressure system, flow system, and temperature processes. Next, we are going to learn about some interacting, non-interacting systems. What is meant by interacting? What is meant by non-interacting? So in industries, we are going to see the different types of devices. Those are accumulated or those are connected separately. So if we accumulate, what is the output of that particular system? If we separated, what is the output of that particular different systems? So what is meant by interacting? What is meant by non-interacting? We are going to learn in this chapter. And again, here we have different industries in nowadays. Those are maintained automatically or manually. Somehow some human work is also there, human involvement is also there. But some industries work sometime, and sometime that will like idle. But some systems, some industries are continuously working, like power plants. So what is a continuous processes? What is a batch process? That will tell about these two topics, that is continuous and batch processes. Next we'll go for self-regulation. So we already know what is meant by regulation, like daily life we are using the fans to tune or to regulate the speed of the particular fan. How it regulate itself, how it regulate itself, that we are going to learn by the self-regulation topic. And here next one, in nowadays we are seeing some continuity or some linear relationship of regulating operation, or else you are seeing some robotic applications which is operating by the user whenever he want, that will perform the operation. Whenever he doesn't, then that will stop the performance. So that type of outputs, what are that called? Servo operations. So servo operations and regulator operations we can see in this entire first chapter. These are the main topics in your first chapter. First, we'll go for, I said, what is meant by this subject itself? Process dynamics and control. But what is meant by process? An operation or series of operations on a fluid or some materials to get some output, or to get some output is called as a process. So in that, which we are going to use some materials, in materials we are going to perform some different operations in that. So after performing the operations, that will generate some output. That to get that particular output, here we are going to perform the different operations in that particular materials, that is called as a process. For example, let us take some tea making. Tea making, that is the output of that tea making is a perfect tea. In order to make that tea, we have to use some materials like milk, sugar, tea powder, like that. We are going to take those materials in that, and we are going to perform some operation, nothing but boiling operation we are performing. After boiling operation, we are going to get some particular output like tea. So this entire method or these entire operations are called as a process. So what is meant by control? So process is nothing but to get an output we are going to perform the operations. But what is meant by control here? In order to get an accurate tea, nothing but tasty tea. In order to get a tasty tea, you have to use some accurate measurements of milk, of tea powder, and of sugar. So in order to get the particular output, we are going to use some particular measurements. So that particular measurements in order to get the particular output is called as a controlling. So controlling of an output is done by the controlling of our particular measurements systems or particular variables. So this is about process and control. So these all methods are used in a different industries that you can see in your in this slide, which is an industry that I am showing in this slide. So here, basically we are having different types of industries, which is some manually operated or some automatically operated. But some industries are semi-automated also. Some portions are automated and some portions are manually doing. So what is meant by automated and what is meant by manual? So based upon the systems we are going to use in the industries, we are going to separate or we are going to differentiate those or in two types. First one is a open loop system. Here I am showing that is open loop system, and this is a closed loop system. So open loop system is called as a human aided control. Closed loop system, which is called as a automated control. So open loop system, why we are calling it as a open loop system and why we are calling it as a human aided control. So human aided control, the name itself that is the human is involving in the process, that is called as a human aided control. If there is no involvement of a human, then that is called as a automated or automated control or closed loop control. So now we'll see one example for the human aided control. So this is the best example for the human aided control. Here, he is controlling. When human is there, he is controlling. He is trying to control the level of a tank. Either you take a overhead tank or some. He need to control the level of a tank at the particular place. First, in daily life, we are seeing, right? We are always going with the roof of our houses, and we are going to see the overhead tank height. If tank height is low, water level is low, then we are going to switch on the motor. Otherwise, if tank is filled, that which is having a maximum level, we are going to switch off the motor. So likewise, here I taken an example. You observe one thing here. This is a tank. So tank which is having some level, but human went there. Human went and he observed what is the present level and what is the desired level he want. What is the present level and what is the desired level he want. He observed. If his desired level is, his desired level which is high when compared to the actual level, or else the actual level is low when compared to the desired level, then he need to perform something. First, he need to observe the level of the tank by his eyes. He is seeing, right? The green line indicate he is watching what is the present level and what is the desired level. He is watching, and then he decided, and he compared the present level and desired level, and he will take the decision. The human brain will take the decision and which operation that should perform. He should perform. Then he performed the operations by moving the outlet wall. If he open the outlet wall, then total water will drain off. If he closes the wall, that water level will rises, right? So likewise, he will control the level of a tank. This is human aided control. Why? Because human is performing everything. That measuring process, that decision process, as well as that operating process, total entire, that is controlled by the human, right? So now you'll see the automated control. So this is an automated control with the same example, which is controlling of a level of a tank. Here a tank which consists of one inlet as well as one outlet. But by varying the outlet flow rate, here we are going to control the level of the tank. Okay. So here, first in order to control the level of a tank, first you need to measure the level. What is the actual desired level you want, but what is the present level that uh, then that measurement is done by the sensor, that is level sensor, and then signal of the level sensor is converted into the controller accepting signal by the level transmitter, or you can take it as a both level sensor and level transmitter together acts like a measurement system. After measuring system, you have that value, that whatever the measured value, you need to compare it with the controller, that you need to compare it with the set point value, whatever the desired value you want. So those two are compared, and then those two values are given to the controller. So here you can see that controller having another input, that is a set point value, and one input is from the measured value, that will take the decision how we are going to how the water level will be controlled, and that action will be taken by the final control element, that is either you can place the different valves, pneumatic valves, hydraulic valves, whatever you want. So that automatically controls the valve. So this is entire automatic system. There is no human involved here. So this is called as a closed loop system. You observe here, from the level of the tank, measurement, controller and final control element, only again measurement. So this is entire, which is a path which is having a closed, that is closed path. So this is called as a closed loop system. Here we have, in previously we have, that is open loop system. Just human will perform the measurement, human will perform the controlling action, human will perform the final valve operation also. So this is about the human aided control and automatic control. So now we'll see the another pictorial representation also. So this is also automatic control system with another way. In previously we are going to control the level of the tank by varying the outlet flow rate. Here we are going to control the flow rate by changing the inlet. If you want level is high, then you can open the valve, that is inflow rate will be high. If you want water level is more, then you can close the inlet valve, then water level will be controlled. So here also same process is going on, same thing, that is measurement, and next one, that is control, that action to be taken by the controller, and that controller is again connected to the input, I mean set point value as well as a measured value, and that output of the controller is given to the input for the control valve. The control valve operation, the control valve can operate by the output of the controller, and then that level of the tank will be controlled. Likewise, are you understanding? So by these two examples, we can draw a block diagram, right? First, either in human aided control or any automatic control, what we are doing, first in order to control a parameter, we are going to measure that one. So here we are going to see a block diagram. Let us start with the output. Finally, after process, we are going to get an output. So here any process is going on, just imagine any process is going on, like temperature process or level process, whatever it may be. So that process is going on, that will generate or that will control the different parameters as an output. So that output we need to control. So in order to control any parameter, we need to measure that one. Likewise, in the previous example, we perform level controller there. So there we are doing measuring of a level. We are measuring the present level of a tank. In the same way here, in order to control the output, we are going to measure that one first. Measuring, after measuring, we are going to compare it with our desired value. Here, feedback element will do the measurement, after measuring that will generate the output, right? So that output and here the set point value both are given to a comparator. Comparator is also called as an error detector, which will generate the error by comparing these two inputs, that is a set point value as well as our measured value. These two values are compared, and then that will generate an error signal, and that will give into the controller part. So after taking the decision by the controller, that will directly influences the process. So this is a block diagram of your basic process control instrumentation. So process control is the ability to monitor and adjust the process to give a desired values, and controlling that we are going to done by the different types of accurate inputs, accurate measurements. So we can draw the same block diagram in another way also. That is, here just we change it the blocks. So in between, first we have process. That process will generate the output as C. So that C we are going to measure by the measurement system. That measurement system will generate the output of B. So that B is compared with the comparator, which will have in the another input of B. And here we have error that will generate the error signal, that is E is equals to R minus B, that is given to the controller. So after controlling, that will take the action that will directly influences the process. So this is another way of representation of the process control block diagram. So this is a general closed loop system block diagram. Same thing where we return our names. Here we are going to represent with a gain. So G stands for gain, and suffix G suffix that will indicate the whatever the action that will be done by that particular block. Here we started with the same output. From output we are going to do the measurement, right? So measurement or feedback. So here a gm of t, which will indicate the gain of the measurement, and that will be given to the error detector or comparator, and that again given to the gp, that is gc, g controller. After that, that will be affect the final control element part gf, and that will directly influences the process, that is gp. So this is your general closed loop system. I think same this diagram will comes under in your control system subject also. So this is another way. So we can draw in many ways. Once block diagram is clear, we can represent in any ways. So that here is another way to represent the process control block diagram. First he taken the process, that will be the blue color. So after that, in process we are going to control one parameter, right? So that parameter we need to measure, and we need to control, and we need to affect the process by using final control element. So likewise, this is a which is like a circle, or which is like a total entire closed loop. So this system or this process control block diagram, which having a closed loop system. So whenever open loop system is there human will be involved. So the best example for the closed loop system or process control block diagram is the best example for the closed loop systems. So variables. So we seen two examples like human-aided control or automatic control, where we are measuring level of the tank, and next, for example, human-aided control you take. So first human is measured that particular level by using his eyes. After that, he taken the decision by his brain. That controlling action is taken by his brain. After that, he finally control that particular level by moving his hands to and fro of that particular wall. And he is performing nothing but performing three types of operations. First one is a measuring, after that controlling, after that manipulating. Three measurements. So here, based upon that, we have three types of process variables. First one is a controlled variable, manipulated variable, after that load variables. So first controlled variable. In the previous example, controlled variable. First I'll give the definitions, after that I will explain that one. So controlled variable. A variable which is to be controlled, which is to be controlled, is called as a control variable. Manipulating variable, a variable which is, by using which variable we are going to control that particular control variable, is called as a manipulating variable or manipulated variable. So rather than these two remaining variables are there, that is the load variables. Once again, control variable, which is a variable which is to be controlled, is called as a control variable. Manipulated variable, by using which variable we are going to control the control variable, is called as a manipulated variable. And lastly, load variables. Except these two variables, all variables in the process, all variables included in the process is called as a load variables. So first I'll give example. After that, what is a control variable I'll say. So control variable. In a previous example, human observed the level of the tank and a human measured the present level of the tank by using his eyes, right? So this eyes are measuring. Okay, so clear. So but what he has to do, he need to control the level of the tank. Nothing but he is going to control the level of the tank. Nothing but the level of the tank is a controlled variable. The level of the tank is a controlled variable. By using which variable he is controlling that level? By manipulating the wall. By manipulating the wall. Nothing but he is manipulating the output flow rate. So by varying the output flow rate, he is going to control the level of the tank. So here the manipulating variable is called as a output flow rate. Rather than these two, we have an input flow rate or water temperature or water pressure. What are these all parameters? Those are called as a load variables. Once again, here control variable. In automatic control, you can see in automatic control, in second example I am going to tell. So what is control variable there? The same way, both three examples we are going to control the level of the tank. That level will be the control variable. In the third example, what we taken, by varying the inflow rate. By varying the inflow rate, we are going to control the level of the tank. That inflow rate is called as a manipulated variable. Rather than these two, nothing but temperature of a water, or else output flow rate, or else output pressure. These are all the load variables. I think you are clear with these variables. So those are three variables: control variable, manipulated variable, load variables. Once again, so control variable, which is a variable which is to be controlled, is called as a control variable. By using which variable we are going to control the control variable is called as a manipulating variable. Rather, other than these two variables are called as a load variables. So here, same example, but here I mentioned the different variables. So first one is a measured variable. Here we can indicate two arrows, up and down arrow. That level of the tank, nothing but this level of the tank is a control variable here, and by varying which, that is inlet wall. Here we are showing inlet wall. So by varying this inlet wall, I am going to control the level of the tank. So this is called as a manipulated variable. So other than those two are called as a load variables. So batch process. So batch process, what is meant by batch process and what is meant by continuous process? So in most of the industries, we have two types. That is, one batch process is there, one continuous process is also there. So batch process mainly that can batches. Batches are nothing but groups, and continuity, there will be missing a continuity, and nothing but there will be production will be in batches, not in continuous manner. For example, uh, in order to make a duff, you are going to put all materials in a vessel, and you are going to mix that one, and that will generate some duff, right? In the same way, in some industries, those all materials to generate that particular product, all are dumped in particular vessels, big vessels, that will dump. After dumping, that will perform the operations and that will generate the output. That's it. Again, do you want to perform or do you want to get the products output? Again, we need to dump the product, dump the materials, and that will generate, that will perform the operations, that will generate the output. That's it. So likewise, that batching, batches of performing the operations is called as a batch process. In next class, we'll continue the continuous process and all. Thank you.